Let's check out this video and then we'll review it.
APC for life, APC for life. 15 pa, 1 vote. 15 pa, say they want me. APC for what? For life.
You see, a friend of mine told me something about 6 months ago, and this is evidence of what he told me. He said, "Very dark man, you keep pitying these poor people, but the poor people don't even pity themselves. Every time you say, oh, you want to do things for the poor, but these poor people, do you think they pity themselves?" And the perfect example he used was this type of situation. He said, make it make sense. That's
all right. Very dark man has started to flag videos around the internet, so we're not going to play too much of his clip. But what we're looking at is a 15,000 naira Ekiti vote buying video scandal. APC for life. A shocking viral video of a young woman flaunting cash has completely blown the lid off the integrity of the Ekiti landslide victory. While the ruling party continues to celebrate Governor Oyebanji's massive second-term win of over 319,000 votes, this newly surfaced footage has dragged the conversation straight into the mud. They call it the trenches. In the video, the woman proudly displays 15,000 naira in crisp bank notes directly to the camera, gleefully boasting that it was handed to her in exchange for her ballot. Diboko Sebe. Civil society groups and monitors like the CJID are already calling it an affront to democracy, pointing it out that under the Electoral Act 2026, vote trading carries a steep 5 million naira fine or 2 years in prison. Sharp Edge Nation. This grand victory party has suddenly run into a heavy credibility wall. Is this viral video just an isolated case of a reckless voter cloud chasing on the internet, or does it expose a deeply entrenched they call it commoditized system, where democracy is simply sold to the highest bidder at the polling booth? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun, let's have your analysis, sir.
Thank you so much, Ola. It's suffrage consumerization, and honestly, it's not something that has just that is. There's nothing new about this. There's nothing novel about it. It's a culture that is endemic with Nigerians, and I think somebody should mark the face of this particular woman who was shouting APC for life just because her conscience could be bought for a pittance. And it's the story that run into everywhere. In Ekiti, what were they exchanging their mandate for? Fresh tomato fruits. Fresh tomato fruits on the street of Ekiti. And so many other places. Even at Edauniyo in Ekiti, a person that we know there said, in spite of the fact that a pastor was recently killed by terrorists there, several worshippers still being held hostage. You don't ever get that in the news, just because they must make it look like, oh, everything is okay. It's now Kumbaya in the land of several rolling hills, Ekiti land. So, in spite of Ekiti having the fame of producing top-notch professors and academics, in fact, the motto, that state's preferred motto is fountain of knowledge. It's not showing in the way our people carry themselves these days. The Omoluabi that they are always lashing on. They say, you go to Ekiti State, you go to Ondo State, people will not behave in a certain way. It's all balderdash. Everybody is caving under the yoke of poverty today in Nigeria. So for any amount of money, and it's always been there anyway, even in those years that people view with nostalgia. And I will tell you this firsthand because, you know, my father was politically involved. He was politically involved, whether in Egbe Omo Yoruba that was inaugurated in 1951 or thereabout at Makbo Hall in Owo, or the emergent political order action group, metamorphosing to Committee of Friends and later Unity Party of Nigeria in 1978-79, up till the time the military put that was called that contrivance to bed on December 31st, 1983. My father was involved, and closely I saw things. I mean, there were times political parties distributed swords and all kinds of stuff, but not on the grand scale that you see today. Initially, people used to sell their conscience for pittance. I mean, these are people that will easily come up to denounce Judas Iscariot in the Bible, but there is always a Judas Iscariot waiting to happen in individual Nigerians. They will denounce Esau as somebody who swapped his birthright with a bowl of porridge. It's so easy to preach all this. You give anybody scriptures, scripturalists would always use it. I mean, they hold one end, they justify themselves, which was why Jesus Christ himself said, you see the Lord in your neighbor's eye, in the other person's eye, but I mean, you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but how about the Lord in your own eyes? So easily Nigerians overlook their personal and individual feelings while criticizing what is going on in everybody blames Tinubu for everything. And yes, it deserves to be blamed because it sets the tone. The leadership recruitment deficiency in the Nigerian system allows for people like Tinubu to run the show, but then you see the way that percolates at every level to the least expected person in a community. Now the media is applauding they said that Bao, the governor of Ekiti State, won overwhelmingly with 80-something% of the votes. They are not questioning the process. If the process is without integrity, credibility, fairness, and what have you, how would you celebrate the victory that is coming from that? This is what I do not understand. Look at in the same Ekiti, in Ilawe, a leading candidate of a political party was almost going to be lynched by individuals led by the current spokesperson of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Yemi Adaramodu. He was the one that was seen with bag of money. In some places, he was accused of offering each voter up to 20,000 naira. The police and law enforcement people were told. They turned the other. I mean, they were looking elsewhere. And you put all this together, you take it to court, you still will not get the justice that should have been served the entire complaint and petition. You won't get that justice because the whole thing is rigged. And people are celebrating victory in Ekiti State today. And even look at, because this thing was planned on a grand scale. The ultimate prize is the presidency in 2027. Already now they are saying, opposition parties are in disarray in Nigeria. They need to organize themselves to counter. What are you going to organize? How do you counter a buffalo, the African buffalo, or the buffalo around us. Let me use the metaphor of the buffalo that we know, the extremely white buffalo around the reserve or in Akure area. Can anybody stand in the way of such a raging bull? That is what the APC machine is. And you find their media arm. There is this individual, I don't like to, because we are all colleagues in the final analysis. In the final analysis, we are all colleagues. But then we cannot continue to condone people who come with this arrogant pride of being the only people who know it all. The media wing of APC, and we know what they are doing. They are opinionated ideologues, and we saw that in the operations of the musketeers of the Second Republic in Nigeria, or First Republic. People who would be, just because they are articulate and they think they are better educated or they are better trained in this profession than others. That is arrant nonsense, because you have your own training. That does not put to question my own processes of becoming a journalist as well. And you cannot tell me you know more about Nigeria than I do, even if I do not live there sustainably or consistently like I used to now. I am alive and well, and I'm paying attention to everything going on. And that is the most important thing that must be done in this kind of circumstance. Because the space is not even safe, whether in terms of your living wage or in terms of safety and security. As somebody who practice, so these individuals, they are protected wherever they go. They get a military escort and what have you. So they think they do better investigative journalism than others. That is arrant nonsense and stupidity of the worst imagined stuff. And so they are busy painting it as if, that 300,000 vote plus garnered by the sitting governor of Ekiti State, who has now been returned to office through a questionable process, makes it a done deal that, yes, he has a kind of victory comparable to some people they have named, like, David Umahi in Ebonyi State, and this and that elsewhere. Fraudulent comparisons. The deal is, the figures published, they said expected number of voters that would come in Ekiti, 1,020,000 plus. And then they didn't put the current one on what they were projecting. They put that of the one that held the last time, which is 900,000 plus. But even at that, look at the turnout for the election. These are people that have been boasting Ekiti will give President Tinubu 5 million votes. Ekiti will give Tinubu so and so. But in their own local election, we have been told youth did not turn out as they ought to. Old people came out. But what did we see? In some places, you find out that on the ballot booklet that should contain 100 leaves. What do you find there? 80. In some places, some pre-printed, thumb-printed ballot boxes were given to some old women who said, why did I thumb-print this? And they said, you are overreacting. So many other shenanigans, but put it on a larger scale. The fraud that is being paraded as Nigeria's population is being exposed right before everybody's eyes. Every time, yes, they tell you Nigeria is about 200 million people plus. It's all a ruse. Things that are being peddled by politicians so that they can corner resources, not even for the people, but for themselves. And so you find that the figures do not match. At the end of the day, what percentage of people voted in this election? Less than 50% of the people came out. But they are saying it's overwhelming victory. 40,000 plus for Dr. Wole Oluyede, who hailed from Ekiti. And everywhere else, votes were suppressed. So the process, like I told you, is rigged, and the facts are out there. If this is the way you think a nation can be built, unreliable judiciary, election processes without integrity, and you are asking for international investors to come, you won't find any international investors. All you will find would also be, that will be pretending to be investing in the system will be disgraced characters like Shagori and Shagori brothers. Once despised people who destroyed Nigeria, but that have now become so cozy with this administration. And that is what you find running at all levels in this administration. So you ask me, succinctly put, concisely said, I would say the Ekiti election is a disgrace. All the same, they want us to congratulate the governor that has been re-elected.
So you're saying it's still a commoditized system?
It is.
In spite of all the efforts.
It's all rigged. It lacks integrity.
See,
What a sorry situation.
Sad.
Yes. Sad. Yes. So sad. And this is the best. Nigeria pretends to be the best place on the African continent. But you see the shame and the charade. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. We have some other trendy stories around the world, and we'll be right back.